I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
Stop me if you've heard this one before. A Mandalorian walks into a cantina. He makes a few fast friends before using that front door to cut a guy in half. No matter what kind of obstacles are in his way, this particular bounty hunter always gets his man, or man-fish alien guy. Time to get paid, have a drink, and relax for a while.
There is one job.
Okay, scratch that, back to work. This is Greef Karga. He runs the Bounty Hunter Guild, handing out the assignments. Smash cut to Mando standing off with 3 very dirty stormtroopers. They work for this guy, who needs to hire a bounty hunter. The job? Track down a 50-year-old asset and bring him back alive, or prove that he's dead, then get paid in Beskar, which is what Mandalorians make their fancy armor out of. So Mando heads out to do the thing, but not before visiting his fellow refugee Mandalorians. By the way, they live in the sewer. The armorer turns his sample Beskar into a brand new pauldron for his armor, and this Mando is back out on the hunt. His tracking fob leads him to a desert planet where he meets Quill, an Ugnaught who leads Mando to his bounty. Only one problem: this IG Hunter droid got there first. Mando convinces IG-11 to work together and split the bounty, which is great because a bunch of goons appear out of nowhere with a big ol' heavy-duty blaster cannon, which seems like it might be a prep. Oh, nope, it's not. They're all dead. And finally, the moment we've all been waiting for. Wait a second. This can't be right. This is clearly a baby.
Species age differently.
If you thought Mando was gonna split this bounty, you were incorrect. And just like that, Mando makes a new friend. Mando and the child are hoofing it back to the ship and have a run-in with some Trandoshans, so we can see Mando do something we never seen Boba Fett do: disintegrate someone. Hey, a tracking fob. Probably just a coincidence. No way that'll come up later. They make it back to the ship the next morning, only to find it being stripped for parts by Jawas. Mando takes a moment to disintegrate a few before they jump in that sandcrawler and punch it, so his only choice is to run after it. When Mando wakes up, the Jawas are gone. That means they're stranded. They make it back to Quill, who helps Mando negotiate with the Jawas to get his ship's parts back.
You understand this?
Which is going great. Anyway, they're pretty clear about what they want. That means egg, which is hidden in what must surely be called Butthole Mountain. Anyway, a deal is a deal, except there's one problem. This here's what you call a mudhorn, and it's not happy, and just as it's about to send Mando to the great bounty hunt in the sky, something incredible happens. This is one talented 50-year-old infant. Anyway, they make it back to the Jawas, who celebrate their prize. Quill helps Mando fix his ship, and he and his precious bounty are finally on their way.
It's not a toy.
Back to Navarro, where Mando will give the child over to the Imperials, no questions asked.
What are your plans for it?
Well, okay, maybe one question. Doesn't matter because the client's only real answer is a whole bunch of Beskar. Mando takes it back to his people, and not everybody is psyched. The armorer reminds them that they're all Mandalorians and probably shouldn't kill each other, and they're all like,
This is the way.
She makes Mando a new set of armor and special weapons while he remembers some more traumatic stuff before showing off his sweet new armor in a cantina full of bounty hunters who hate him. And why do they hate him? Turns out Greef Karga gave out those tracking fobs to all of them.
All of them. All of them!
Mando is eager to get out of there, so he takes his next assignment and does exactly that, except he gets all in his feelings thinking about the child. Okay, new plan. Storm the Imperial hideout, slaughter the stormtroopers inside, and take the kid. Plan's going great until all those bounty hunters with tracking fobs instantly get back to work. This naturally leads to a shootout, and it looks like Mando and the kid are done for. But, wouldn't you know it, all of those secret Mandalorians show up and start just blasting. This means they're no longer secret Mandalorians, though, but that shouldn't be a problem.
This is the way.
So Mando and the kid are headed out on their own, away from all those bounty hunters, but not before shooting Greef Karga right in the Beskar. They make their way to Sorgan, a quaint little planet which seems like a quiet place to hide out. That's Cara Dune, an ex-rebel shock trooper and now mercenary. See, she's already hiding on Sorgan and doesn't want Mando and the child cramping her style. So Mando is on his way out of there when these farmers stop him and offer him lodging in exchange for protection. So he goes for it. Plus, he hires Cara Dune to help the farmers ward off the attackers, which are these raiders. Mando meets a lovely widow named Omera who gives them some food. That night, Mando and Cara go hunting for those raiders, discover that they are wielding a decommissioned AT-ST, and quickly come up with a plan to fight them.
Bad news. You can't live here anymore.
The villagers somehow aren't convinced by this, so Mando and Cara train them to fight and set traps for the walker. Then, to kick things off, they explode a bunch of dudes before leading them back to the village to do battle. They take out the AT-ST and drive off the raiders, and everybody's happy and chill as Mando casually announces he's going to leave the child there with Omera, which somehow seems okay until a random bounty hunter almost takes out the child. Mando knows he has to protect him and that they need to keep running. So they say goodbye to his new friends and gets out of there.
That's my line.
A quick dogfight leaves the Razor Crest in need of repair, so he drops down to the nearest planet. And wait, we've seen this place before. It's Tatooine. Mando lands in Mos Eisley, meets a charming hangar tech and her droids. She can fix his ship, but he'll need some coin to pay for it. Mando heads to a familiar cantina and meets this yahoo.
Name's Toro Calican.
He's a wannabe bounty hunter dead set on making it into the guild and wants Mando to help him with a job that's sure to get him in, capturing the deadly mercenary Fennec Shand. Mando tries to talk him out of it, but Calican ain't having it, so they hop on their speeder bikes and hightail it to the deep desert. Calican and Mando come across a stray dewback among the dunes and, what's that there? Another tracking fob.
It's a trap!
She's got the high ground.
The references are flying fast and furious, but so are Mando and Calican, who devise a way to blind Fennec Shand's scopes while they can close in and take her down, which they do. But Mando has to go back for the dewback so he can take her back to town, which he does. But Fennec gets in Calican's head.
You bring the guild that traitor, and they'll welcome you with open arms. Your name will be legendary.
Okay, so, new plan. Mando shows up and they're gone. He goes back to find Calican, has everybody hostage, so he shuts that right down. Mando pays his new friend for the repairs before he and the child leave the planet. Meanwhile, back in the desert, a mysterious figure approaches Shand's body. Another quick side mission, Mando meets an old friend who introduces him to some new ones. They want to do a quick job for a big payday, a jailbreak aboard a New Republic prison vessel. Seems insane, but Mando needs the money, so he goes for it. They board the vessel, fight some battle droids, and everything is going really well until a New Republic crew member triggers a beacon, meaning X-Wings will show up pretty soon to explode them. They successfully do the breakout and double-cross Mando by locking him in a cell, thinking this is a great idea. It wasn't a great idea. Mando picks them off one by one, uses a blast door in a fight for the second time in the season, and cuts a deal with the guy he broke out in the first place. All the while, this droid is back on his ship snooping around, which, in retrospect, was also a bad idea. Anyway, Mando takes the Twi'lek back to his buddy who hired him, and he double-crosses both of them as he leaves them with the New Republic tracker. The chapter ends as we see each of the crewmates jailed as Mando once again heads for the stars. Greef Karga reaches out via HoloNet. Apparently, he wasn't mad about getting shot. What a guy. Anyway, the Empire has taken over Navarro since Mando was last there, so he poses a deal. Help him take out the client and his troopers and free the town, and Greef will make things cool with the guild so the bounty hunters will get off Mando's tail. Mando agrees, but knows
It's a trap!
So he picks up Cara Dune and Quill. Oh, hey, remember IG-11? Quill retrieved him and reprogrammed him. Mando isn't buying it, but IG-11 really is a nurse droid now. So they all head back to Navarro, and the child decides to do a quick force choke on Cara just to remind everyone about what his powers are. Stop! They meet up with Greef and his boys and slowly make their way back to town because they parked the ship super far away. Overnight, they get attacked by a space pterodactyl and Greef gets messed up. But the child steps in and saves his life. The next day, Greef turns on his boys saying they were going to do a double cross, but he decided to do a double cross. Oh, and by the way, he still wants their help clearing the town. So they make a dumb plan to fool the client, which doesn't work because Moff Gideon arrives in a cool TIE fighter and just opens fire immediately. Mando, Cara, and Greef are pinned down. Quill has the child and races back to the ship, but a couple of stormtroopers chase him down to make sure he doesn't make it. Scouts have the child, but nobody knows it because Moff Gideon is too busy just wasting fools to even answer their comlink. They punch the child a few times before IG-11 makes him cut it out, very persuasively. Now, IG-11 and the child head back to town, which is good because Mando, Cara, and Greef are just trying not to get shredded by Moff Gideon's huge blaster cannon outside. He proposes a deal. Bring him the child, and he won't kill them right this second. Mando recognizes Gideon as an officer who helped the Empire take over Mandalore. Gideon also seems to know stuff about Cara, Greef, and Mando, whose real name is actually Djarin. We get a flashback showing Din's origin story, set during the Clone Wars. His parents are killed by battle droids before he is rescued by Death Watch Mandalorians. That explains why he hates droids so much, I guess. Anyway, IG-11 and the child arrive in dramatic fashion. Din Djarin and the gang attack, and everything's going great until, for once, the Empire uses a major design flaw against someone else for a change. Everybody gets back inside, Din Djarin got his bell rung once again, and the child shows off why he might be more powerful than any of them can possibly imagine. Cara and Greef take the child into the sewers while Din lets IG-11 take his helmet off for the first time all season to save his life. They meet up, set out to go say hi to the secret Mandalorians. Ooh, scratch that, they say bye to the secret Mandalorians. Turns out when the secret Mandos took flight in Chapter 3, that alerted the Empire that they were there, so they got wiped out. The armorer meets the child and realizes what he is.
You expect me to search the galaxy for the home of this creature and deliver it to a race of enemy sorcerers?
This is the way.
Now all they gotta do is get out of this alive. The armorer gives Din his signet and a new jetpack, and they bail while she stays behind to wreck some stormtroopers in the face. Trapped in the tunnel of molten lava, IG-11 knows there's only one way out. He activates his self-destruct and takes out the remaining troopers in the most Terminator 2 way possible. Not quite out of the woods, Din Djarin still has to deal with Moff Gideon, who's ready to go to work in his souped-up TIE fighter, which, despite being souped up, is apparently no match for a jetpack, a wristline, and a little splody thing, because Din Djarin has saved the day. Greef wants him to stay on Navarro and get back to work. Cara agrees. Good thing that nasty Moff Gideon guy is dead, right, you guys? Except he's not dead. The next time we see him, he's wielding a lightsaber, and not just any lightsaber, the Darksaber, an ancient Mandalorian lightsaber that... Oh, I guess we went a little over time, so they're cutting me off. Maybe we'll get to that next time. For more Star Wars, check out why Obi-Wan Kenobi is the greatest Jedi of all time, and why some Mandalorians can take their helmets off while others can't. And don't forget to follow and subscribe to IGN wherever you like to watch.
This is the way.
This is the way.